young lords and learners, good morning all of you. Welcome to my class. Today I am going to talk about the tiger and the deer by Sri Aurobindo Ghosh, a great poet, philosopher, saint and seer, nationalist of India. This great saint and seer was born on 15 August 1872 in then Calcutta, now Kolkata, in West Bengal, India. He died on 5 December 1950 in Calcutta, now Kolkata, in West Bengal, India. Sri Aurobindo was a very brilliant student from his childhood. When he was 17 years old, he was taken to England along with his two elder brothers for education. He lived there for 14 years and studied in England. He returned India and joined freedom movement. Sri Aurobindo was a great literature. He wrote brilliant poems, plays, epic, and vice versa. Sri Aurobindo penned Life Divine. This poem deals with different aspects of yoga. Then he wrote Synthesis of Yoga. This also discusses the practical aspects of yoga. Then Sri Aurobindo composed Savitri. This is a legend and a symbol. This epic poem deals with the passionate love between Savitri and Satyavan. Savitri, who is a beautiful girl, is married to Satyavan, a woodcutter who is said to die young. On his death, Savitri begs God of death a son. When son of death comes to take the life of Satyavan, Savitri tells, "O liar, you have blessed me with a son. How can you take life of my husband?" Hence, death, God of death, was forced to return the life of Savitri on his promise. Sri Aurobindo established Aurobindo Ashram in Pondicherry, where he lived for the rest of his time. Now let me talk about the present poem, The Tiger and the Deer. I shall discuss this poem, analyze this poem line by line. Brilliant, crouching, slouching was crept through the green heart of the forest. The poet says, that the tiger is brilliant, crouching, slouching, and it creeps. It creeps through the dense forest, through the heart of forest, gleaming eyes and mighty chest, and soft, soundless paws of grandeur and murder. The tiger has gleaming eyes, and it has a strong and mighty chest, but it has soft paws of grandeur and murderous skill. It can murder its prey with his paws, murderous paws. The wind slipped through the lips as if afraid lest its voice and the noise of its steps perturb the pitiless splendor. Here the poet says that this king of forest, the tiger, moves through the dark forest, through the lips, and even the wind does not disturb or perturb the splendor tiger. Even wind stops on the movement of the tiger, hardly daring to breathe, hardly daring to breathe. But the great beast crouched and crept and crept and crouched a last time, noiseless, fatal, till suddenly death leapt on the beautiful wild deer as it drank, unsuspecting at the great pool in the forest coolness and shadow, as it fell and torn and died, remembering its mate left lone soul in the deep woodland, destroyed the mild harmless beauty by the strong cruel beauty in nature. Here the poet says that the tiger is very strong and mighty. When the deer goes to drink tea in the pool, it attacks on the beautiful deer. It wants to destroy the deer, which symbolizes beauty in nature. A day may yet come when the tiger crouches and lives no more in the dangerous heart of the forest, as the mammoth seeks no more the plains of Asia. Still then shall the beautiful wild deer drink from the coolness of great pools in the leaves' shadow. The mighty perish in their might, the slain survive the slayer. In the concluding stanza of the poem, the poet says that a day will come when tiger, the ferocious animal, will vanish, and the deer, the beautiful creature, will survive. The mighty cannot long last, the beauty will long last. So the poet concludes the line, the mighty perish in their might, the slain survive the slayer. Meaning thereby, the mighty, the powerful, go away very soon, and the beautiful, the slain creature, the slain man, the slain animal survive the slayer. This is beautiful line of the poem. To conclude, this is a very beautiful poem. This poem is full of fine imagery, similes, and metaphors. As a matter of fact, the tiger and the deer are used for human beings. There are some critics who interpret the poem in reference to the independence war of India. They say that the tiger symbolizes the mighty Britishers, the mighty English who ruled over India, and the Indians symbolize the meek, the beautiful deer who were ruled over by the mighty Britishers. But in the long run, what happens? The mighty Britishers have to leave India on 15th August 1947, and the Indians who symbolize beautiful deer survive, and they are free here. They are enjoying the fruit of freedom in India. That's all. Thank you very much.